Hi cuties! I hope you guys are doing so well. Spooky season is finally upon us and I have been preparing for the past month by buying spooky nail supplies. Since the beginning of September, I have been ordering spooky nail art supplies and accumulating them in this little box. So this little box is packed tight with really cute spooky charms and stickers and stuff. So I want to go through all of it with you guys. And then of course I am going to be doing a new set of nails with all of it. I'm also going to be using some new poly gel from Nail Reserve. I've been using Nail Reserve gel polishes for the past year or so, and I've really enjoyed them, especially the fact that they are 9 free of the most harmful chemicals and toxins sometimes found in nail products. This video is also sponsored by Nail Reserve, so I want to thank Nail Reserve so much for their continuous support. I really appreciate it. Now let's get into this epic haul of cute spooky nail supplies so that we can do some epic nails. Let's go. So this isn't like one of my $300 Temu nail supplies hauls. All of this stuff is kind of from different shops, I think. I honestly don't really remember where everything is from, but it will be linked down below in the description box if it is still available. Let's start by going through some of the chunky charms I got. Okay, I have to start with these because these are unbelievably adorable. Do you see this? These are so freaking cute. Okay, I have to pour them out. These are the cutest little spooky like bear and bunny cabochons. They're definitely quite large, borderline too large to use on a nail, but I think that they will look so cute for like the chunky charm Y2K. I don't know if that's Y2K, but like chunky charm kawaii aesthetic, if you know what I mean. So like look at how adorable. There's this little devil bear with a pumpkin, this little mummy bunny, this little haunted mansion. Of course, I'm not gonna go through all of them because I don't actually think there's a single 2 of these charms that are the same. Looking at them, they're all different, which is really cool, I think. I really like that. Oh my god, this one is adorable. Look at that. That is so cute. The pumpkin has blushies. Okay. Oh. I said I wasn't gonna go through all of them. I am so excited. We are 100% going to be doing some chunky charm nails today. Next, I got these super large candy corn cabochons. I'm honestly calling them cabochons instead of charms because they're just so large. I feel like these really large ones would be categorized more as cabochons. What I really like is that they feel light, so they're not gonna be like super heavy on your nail, because usually when you have like a lot of big charms on your nails start to get really heavy. That can be really annoying for some people, although I personally like when my nails have a little bit of weight to them. But these candy corns also just look so real to me. Like, just kidding. Are you guys a candy corn lover or a candy corn hater? Let me know. But yeah, definitely these candy corns were essential. Along those same lines of like candy charms, I got these little candy wrapper charms. These ones I had to put in a mini Ziploc bag because they came in a bag like this, but the bag was like ripped and they were all over the shipping bag when I opened it. So hopefully I didn't lose any of them in the midst of all of that. But these are so cute. I love that they have the little hearts on them. So these ones are just like a clear jelly. And I also really like that these ones weren't super big. Like these ones are a decent size to put on a nail, nothing too crazy. It's not like a huge commitment. So I got those, and then I also got these ones, which are basically the exact same charm, except these ones are like ombre between 2 different colors, and they're also made with like a resin or an acrylic that had glitter mixed into it. Literally adorable. I really, really like this like green and purple one, and obviously the pink and purple. I'll probably just end up storing these ones all together since they're basically the same charm. I've been meaning to do this for like the past like 2 months, I feel like, but I really need to film another charm organization video because I know y'all really liked the first one, and I have like a box of charms of like just charms that I've gotten over the past like 2 or 3 months that are totally unorganized. So yeah, I need to do that soon. Next, I got these really pretty, almost like corpse bride aesthetic looking roses. These ones, I don't know, these ones just really remind me of corpse bride. Look at how pretty pretty that is. I'm not completely sure, but I think that these ones might be glow in the dark. So if they are, I will pop in a little video right now showing how they glow in the dark. Yeah, but I just thought these were like the prettiest gothic looking roses. Absolutely love them. And again, I feel like that is the perfect size for a nail, but you know, I like my charms kind of chunky. So I got these really creepy like skeleton hand silver charms. I feel like I might have a couple of these in like a different sort of mixture of miscellaneous charms that I've gotten in the past, but I wanted more of them. And I'm gonna try to show you guys all of them like over my nails so that you can get an idea of how big they are. But these ones would have looked so cute on this set that I have on right now, actually. I'm not gonna be wearing this set for too much longer, but I might have to go back in and add a few of them. Oh, and they're also a bit curved. I don't know if you can tell, but they're a bit curved so that they lay on your nail really nicely. Next, I got these really pretty coffin, like enamel charms. Hold up, I gotta open. Ooh, these are so pretty. Let me try to show you close up. They have like a shimmer to them, but I can't tell if the shimmer is because there's actual glitter in it or because the red is sort of like a jelly, like transparent red. So the shimmer might just be from like the silver showing through the red. Either way, these are so pretty. And here's how it would look on a nail. Again, like a super perfect size, even if you're not wearing nail extensions and you just have your natural nail. I feel like this would fit really well. And they also do have a tiny bit of a little curve to them, which I think also helps a lot with your charms not snagging on your hair and stuff because there's not much of like a space underneath them. Next, I got these super cute little ghosty charms. I'm probably going to say super cute like 50 billion times in this video, so hopefully you don't mind. All of this stuff is just so cute. Look at the little blushies on them. That is so adorable. And they've got a little purple witch hat. That's just so cute. And I feel like it's so unique. I don't think I've ever seen someone use this charm on a nail. That's like my favorite thing is when I find really original, unique charms. I like to share them with you guys. Oh, almost forgot. Again, the perfect size to put on a nail. Like, I'm literally dying of how cute this is. I wish I had opened these before I had done this set because some of these charms would have looked so adorable on these nails I have on right now. These ones do not have a curvature in the back at all because I think that some of the charms like this that are like really unique and really cute and look more like small cabochons, I think they're more made for like deco den art or like making cute hair clips and stuff like that. So a lot of these really cute like kawaii charms aren't made specifically for nail art, but you can use them on your nails. Like, who says you can't? They're perfect. So in that same like ghost collection, I also got these really cute ones with these hearts. So they're more or less like the same exact thing, except they've got like this little heart behind them and in front of them. Although this little heart that's behind them kind of looks like butterfly wings or something, but they are still so cute. Again, absolutely perfect. I'm going to have so much fun with these charms. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. And okay, I think these are the last ghost charms. Oh my goodness gracious, that is so freaking adorable. No way. No way, no way, no way. That is so cute. They're little ghosties with like devil horns in a bow tie. They warrant a close-up. Look at those. I think these definitely have to be my favorite out of the ghost charms. These are too adorable. And on my nail, absolute perfection. I already have a few of these spiders, but I wanted to have a few more of them and in different colors. So I got this little organizer of spider charms. So there's these silver ones in pink and red. Then there's these more gunmetal ones in just regular crystal and AB. So they've got like all those different color like rainbow reflections to them. And then finally we have some gold ones, although I literally never wear gold charms on my nails. I don't know why. I like silver. Gold isn't really my thing, but I felt like it's good to have some gold charms. So then there's these gold ones in, again, the AB like rainbow reflection and the regular crystal. Again, I feel like spider charms are essential to have. for spooky season nails. Next, I got these like enamel axe charms with like blood splatter on them. And these ones do seem to have like a curve to them, like a little bit. And they're also really, really, really thin. So I feel like that will be good. It won't bulk up the nail too much. And that is what it looks like. I forgot to show you guys what the spider ones look like on my nail, didn't I? Let's go back and do that real quick. This is what it would look like on your nail. And they are also curved really nicely. Lastly, for the charms, I got these, which are more just like your typical like jewelry charm. And I got them from Joann's. I think it was Joann's. Yeah, Heidi and Joe's at Joann's. They were having like a sale. And I was thinking, I kind of want to start putting dangly charms on my nails more often. And these are just going to be absolutely perfect for spooky season. I feel like they're not too big where they're going to be really annoying. Some of these might become borderline too big, but you know, I'll just put them on a lobster clasp so that I can take them on and off if they're gonna get in the way. Like, look at how pretty that moth is. And this axe one will go perfectly with those other axe charms that I got. So I'm very excited to start putting some more dangly charms on my nails this season. And I feel like if there's any that I don't end up using on my nails, like these eye charms and stuff, I could probably use in like some jewelry or to make like keychains and stuff in the future, because that is something that I do like to get into every now and then whenever I get like a random impulse to revisit my old hobbies. I got a whole bunch of these bat sequins. I don't even know if you can really see them because they're like so dark. I felt like these will definitely come in handy just like for putting individually on a nail, but also for my custom acrylics. And lastly, I got a whole bunch of really cute stickers. I think that all of them are Sanrio, by the way. So, I mean, if you look at my background, you're probably not surprised. I got these adorable Kuromi and My Melody ones. Oh, and there's also Hello Kitty on there. Some just My Melody ones. This one has like a whole bunch of different Sanrio characters on it, and it's more like Beetlejuice vibes, I think. I don't know, I'm thinking Beetlejuice vibes because of like the black and white stripes, but I could be wrong. There's also like those neon sign style stickers, which are really cute. Some classic like orange and black trick or treat Sanrio stickers. And then these ones are Hello Kitty stickers, but it's actually a package of stickers, and I don't know if they're all Hello Kitty or if there's some other ones in here. So there's these Hello Kitty ones. Really, really like that one. That one is so cute. More Hello Kitty, but like these ones are Hello Kitty in a black cat costume, Hello Kitty in a zombie costume, and then just some random little like sort of fall season flower stickers. So that's it for the spooky nail art haul. I tried not to go too above and beyond with buying Halloween nail art stuff this year because I know I do already have a lot of stuff. And I probably won't be using some of these like chunkier Halloween charms completely like year round. So yeah, I wanted to keep it to a minimal, but I'm really excited about the stuff that I got. So I'm gonna go remove these nails so that we can do a new set. I'm going to do that off camera though. I showed you guys the removal process in my last video. So if you're interested in how I'm going to be removing these, you can go watch my last video. I used the Jello peel off base coat on top of my protective hard gel layer, so I'm going to be using the exact same method as I used last time, and hopefully it goes just as well. Alrighty, I'll see you in a little bit with baby hands, or one baby hand. I honestly don't even want to talk about that removal process. I don't really want to talk about that. That was not very pleasant. I'll just leave it at that. So now I've just got my hard gel layer on there, and I did not put a top coat on it this time because I am not going to be using the Jello peel off base coat again. Here are the 3 new poly gels I have from Nail Reserve. I opened this one already, but then I thought it would be satisfying to open these ones with you guys on camera. So let's do that. So of course I will swatch all of these to figure out which one I want to use today for my nails. But first I want to put on some tips. I think these ones are from Amazon, and they're just these like extra long stiletto ones, but I'm going to cut them down quite a bit and make them into a coffin shape. So I'm just gonna get these all sized out really quick. Actually, I'm having like such a hard time sizing out these tips because they are so extremely curved and they run so large. Like this one, the size 9, one of the smallest sizes. I have to flatten it out a bit for it to actually fit on my nail. But then that's just like so big, and that's the size 9. So yeah, these are not gonna work. Okay, so I went through my stuff and I found these extra long stiletto tips. They're just like some random ones from AliExpress, I think. I got them a really long time ago. And I think that these are gonna work a lot better. I didn't realize I don't have like literally any extra long coffin, just like regular tips. So if you know of any good ones, let me know, because I will really appreciate that. And to prep them, I'm just going to use a mini Q-tip with some 100% acetone, and I'm just going to like scrub the little edge of the tip where it's going to be adhering to my natural nail, or like the hard gel layer on my natural nail, but you get the point. And as I mentioned before, I'm not going to be using a peel off method for these nails. I'm just going to put them on for 100% adhesion and do the whole filing off, filling in the hard gel thing when it comes to taking them off. So I'm just going to take my little buffing block and I'm going to rough up the shiny layer on my hard gel just so that it's no longer shiny. If you're doing this on your natural nail though, you do want to make sure to be very gentle. And I'm going to clean off all of the dust with some isopropyl alcohol. And I'm going to quickly put on these tips with some nail glue gel as usual. You could also just use a gel base coat if that's all you have. Or you could go the classic way of using nail glue, but I always just found nail glue gel to be easier. So I've got all of those fully cured on there. So I'm just gonna take my little nippers and I'm gonna cut off the tip to turn it into a coffin shape. I will file it to make sure it's even after. Okay, so I went ahead and filed them a little bit off camera. I filed the free edges to make sure they were nice and straight and sharp, and I also filed a little bit where the tips met my natural nail just so that they looked like a little bit more flesh. I don't always like to do that, but today I felt like doing it, so there we have them. So let's swatch these polygels. I think what I'm actually gonna do, because I think it'll be really cute, is swatch them in these little heart molds, which this one is really dusty and gross. Ew. I'll just make sure the one that I'm gonna use is super nice and clean. Okay, that should be good. And to work with the polygel, I'm going to be using an acrylic brush, which is something I've really been liking to do recently, but I'm going to be using this one from Shein that works fine. It's not my favorite brush to use for acrylic though, so that's why I'm going to dedicate it to using with polygel. Since acrylic brushes aren't really made to be used with alcohol, which is what I'm going to be using for my slip solution, and I think it can start to ruin the brushes. I was using my like more expensive Pana one before, but I think I'm gonna switch to just using like a more affordable one for polygel because I think it should work just as well. They've got tabs that are semi-easy to remove. How lovely. So this one is Sherbet. It's like a very peachy nude color. This next one is Dusk Drift. This one is a much more like mauve-y pink color. It's more of like a brown pink. I'm also just noticing right off the bat that these colors are really easy to squeeze out of the tube. I'm barely having to squeeze the tube at all, but at the same time they're not runny, so I really like that. And the last polygel we have is Pink Harmony. This one is a much lighter, more milky pink than all of the other ones. I think it's going to be a difficult decision deciding which one I want to use on my nails today. They're all quite nice and so different. Okay, so I fully cured all of those and popped them out of the mold. I put like a really generous glob of top coat over all of those because there were like a little bit of air bubbles in the mold and that was totally my bad. Then I just put them on the caps using some rhinestone glue gel and hopefully they stay. They seem pretty solid, but look at how cute that is. I am definitely going to have to swatch all of my polygels like this. Maybe I'll have to do like a video swatching all of the polygels I have like this because that's so cute. I think that Emily Susanna swatched her polygels like this in one of her videos. I'm pretty sure that's where I got this idea from. But yeah, for today's nails, I think I'm gonna go with this light pink one just because, I don't know, I'm like a sucker for the lighter pink shades. So I'm gonna use Pink Harmony, and I'm just going to do a completely nude nail. And then my idea is to do some like spooky Halloween themed French tips and then put a bunch of chunky charms. So I'll just be using some 91% isopropyl alcohol as my slip solution. And before I go in with the polygel, I'm going to just like wipe the tip off with some 100% acetone to kind of like etch it a bit, just to make sure everything sticks on properly. And I'm too lazy to buff them, so this is like much easier. And then I'm also gonna go in with the base coat. And when I do polygel, I like to prep them one nail at a time, because that way the other nails won't get super sticky and linty and stuff while I am working on this one. Just helps everything stay nice and clean. And now we can start with the polygel application. So I think I'm going to try to do it in like sections, so like different beads like I would with acrylic almost. So I'm just gonna start with one bead down at the cuticle area, dip my brush into the alcohol, dab it off a bit, and then just pat it around. I'm really gonna try not to make these too super thick because I do not want to be filing for hours. Right off the bat though, this polygel is so nice to work with. It is not sticky like at all. Oh my goodness, this is really nice. I think it's definitely a big difference compared to if you guys watched my last video. I made some custom glitter polygel and I used like some really cheap polygel and it was so sticky and so hard to work with. So it's just like really nice to see how easy this polygel is to work with in comparison. So before I go in and apply the second bead, I'm going to give that a flash cure just for 30 seconds. Should be good with this little lamp. This little lamp is really strong. And then now that won't move around while I do the second bead. And so I'm just going to apply that to the end. Also using this acrylic brush that I got just from Shein is working really nicely. What? Can y'all believe that I did this polygel application? Me. Like, I suck at polygel, but that was so easy and that was so quick. That is the quickest I have ever applied polygel. I'm not even joking. Okay, so I'm just gonna flash cure that. And then I'm going to apply one more bead just to the top to make sure that there's a strong apex and like a nice structure, because looking at it from the side I can kind of tell that there isn't too much of a like apex, and although I want them to be pretty thin, I do also want them to be strong. Okay, I think that is really good actually. Of course, I'm going to like clean it up a little bit with filing and stuff, but before I move on, I'm going to just give this a full 60-second cure in my big lamp. And then before I move on, I am just going to get rid of this sticky layer with some isopropyl alcohol. And wow, look at that. I am so impressed. Wow. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do all of the rest of them the exact same way, prepping with acetone first, and then applying my base coat. I am honestly so excited about how easy it is to work with this polygel, for me at least. If you guys know me, you know that I have struggled with polygel like forever. So the fact that I'm actually having an easy time is amazing to me. So if I'm remembering correctly, these colors are the only polygel colors they have out at the moment, but I really do hope that they come out with a whole bunch of different shades, because I will definitely be buying them when they do. Also, before I forget to mention, because I know I will forget, I did take a picture of my little baby hands without any nails on after I removed my previous set so that I could give it to you guys as a template for subscribers draw my Halloween nails. So that should be up probably already in a community tab post. So make sure to go check out my community tab on my channel if you're interested in participating. I know that some of you guys were a little bit upset that you missed the last one. Also, I kind of feel the need to mention this every single time I do a subscribers draw my nails video or mention it, but I am totally not taking credit for this series or this idea or this format for a video. This is all brought to YouTube and created by the amazing Emily Susanna, who I'm really hoping will come back to posting on YouTube soon because I really miss her videos and love her so much. And I did get her permission to do this series on my channel, but yeah, if you want to participate in that, definitely go check out my community tab post. This is me telling you that it's up. Okay, cool. I think this is actually one of the best polygel applications I've ever done, which might be kind of sad because it's really not that great, but it's really good for me. But I definitely do need to file it a bunch. So I'm going to use my e-file with this medium coarseness safety bit, and I'm just going to try to make sure the surface is really smooth, especially because I did this application in multiple beads. It is a bit lumpy in some areas, and I want to just make it look like you can't tell that I used multiple beads to do the application. Okay, I think these look really good. Definitely so much better now that they're all filed and buffed. I'm gonna go ahead and put a base coat on all of them just to make sure that the surface is super nice and smooth for the nail art, and also because I actually have to go to school like in 10 minutes. So I want to put a base coat on and wipe off the sticky layer just to make sure that that polygel layer that's all nice and buffed and everything is just protected and stays clean and everything. So I'm back a couple hours later. Class was a little bit rough, but we can talk about that later. So like I said, I want to do some cute Halloween themed French tips on all of these before I go in with the chunky charms. And I do have a couple new shades of gel polish from Nail Reserve that I want to go through real quick. So there's Sunset Strip. Ooh, this is a really, really pretty deep purple, almost like jelly looking color with purple shimmers in it. I don't even know if you can see that on camera, but that's so pretty. Then there's Milky Way, which is a really pretty pastel milky pink color with some like hollow mini shimmers in it. That's so pretty. I love that. I'm almost thinking maybe I should put this on all of my nails. Acid Green. Yes! This green is so bright. Love it. This orange one is called Future Past. The vibrancy and like brightness of this orange and the green one is so amazing. I absolutely am dying. I love them. And then finally we've got City of Love, which is a sparkly red color. Ooh, that is so sparkly. That is so pretty. It has all different colors of reflections in it. I don't know if it's showing up on camera very well. Love it! If you couldn't tell, I definitely picked out these colors with spooky nails in mind. So these are the ones that I'm probably going to be using for all of the nail art. Before I get into all of the French tips, I want to see what it would look like if I just put this shimmery pink on the entire nail for all of them. Since the nails are pink already, it would just add like a, extra layer of shimmeriness to them. That's a tough one. I don't know. I think I'm gonna add it to all of them. Why not? Why not? It wouldn't be me if I didn't add glitter to all of my nails. I mean, let's be real. And then before I do any more nail art, I'm actually going to put a quick matte top coat over all of the nails just because the glittery polish did leave behind like a little bit of a gritty texture from all of the glitter. And I want the surface to be super even and smooth for doing the French tips and stuff. This is actually a pro tip that I learned from one of Emily Susanna's old videos. I'm not sure if she still really does this, but I know that she used to always put a matte top coat on her nails before she went in and did like nail art and stuff. Matte top coats are usually a little bit thicker than other top coats, so it usually works out really well. These look like beautiful canvases for some epic nail art, so let's do it. So like for the color scheme, I'm going to try to stick to mostly the orange, green, and dark purple. Maybe we'll do some sparkly blood drips at some point with the red, but yeah. I feel like these are really classic Halloween colors, and that's what I want to go for. So for the first nail, I'm going to start off pretty simple, and I'm just going to do a regular French tip with the acid green. Ignore the fact that my Jello palette still has gel on it from my subscribers draw my nails video. I left it by my window and the gel cured on it, and now it's not coming off. So I think it just makes it look more artsy and aesthetic, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, just don't mind that. The green is definitely not as bright once it's on my nail because it is the tiniest bit transparent. So it's 100% going to need 1 or 2 more coats. It probably would have been a good idea to first go in and block out the French tip with white just so that the green showed up really true to the color straight from the bottle. But hopefully it'll come out all right with just a couple more coats. I'm actually pretty happy with it just with 2 coats. So now I'm going to take my black liner gel and I'm going to outline the French tip just on the, I don't know what you call it, that curve, on the curve. And I'm going to add little stitch lines. My hand is so insanely shaky right now. At the end of the day, like, I don't know why I do this to myself. Okay, so there's that one. For the next one, do you guys know like the French tip design with the bat on it? I think I'm gonna try to do that. So I'm gonna try to use this purple one for the French tip, and hopefully it's not going to be too dark so that I can use the black on top for the bat. Because if it's too dark, then we're just gonna have to figure out something else for this one. Doing French tips is so hard because I just always feel like they're not even. I'm doing all of like the cleanup on this just with a different clean brush and some isopropyl alcohol, by the way, in case you were wondering. I finally am happy with it, so I gave it a full cure, and I absolutely love this purple gel polish. It is so pretty, but I definitely do not think that black is going to show up well enough over it. So instead, I'm just going to do a cute little spiderweb design on it with some white, because that will definitely look a lot better. Also, it was absolutely steaming in my room, so I had to open my window, and it is nighttime now, so if you can hear some crickets in the background and they bother you, I am sorry. But hopefully they can just like add to the ambiance, is what I'm hoping. I finished the spider web up off camera because my camera started to overheat, so I had to give it a little break, but I think I'm I'm okay with how it turned out. We're gonna move on. So for the next one, I'm going to do the French tip with the orange, and then hopefully I'll be able to do the bat design on top of this one. I think I should be able to do it without a problem. Probably going to need 2 coats of the orange though, just from my experience of what happened with the green. Oh, actually, definitely not going to need 2 coats. I think because the orange is on top of a pink, it is showing up so much brighter because orange is kind of like, you know, that same warm tone as pink. That showed up really nicely. Wow. And now for the bat, I'm going to be using my black liner gel again, and I have a reference open on my phone. It doesn't look too hard, so hopefully I didn't speak too soon. Doing straight black lines right now, though, is just like not happening easily. So this is probably gonna take me a minute. I do recommend though that if you're trying to do straight lines, definitely use like the longest liner brush that you have. If you're trying to do more itty bitty details, definitely then switch to a shorter one. When I was doing the spider web, I was trying to use my long one to do the little parts of the web, and it was really difficult. And then I switched to a shorter one off camera, and it was so much easier. I'm gonna try using a dotting tool for the little head. And then my little liner brush to do the ears. Ooh, I think that's perfect. The head might be a little too small, but it's fine. I think that's really good. For the next one, I think we'll keep it sort of kind of simple and just do a white French tip with some blood drips. I don't know, I feel like the spider web one is kind of throwing me off because I don't really like it that much. So I hope that adding more white to this set is going to help, but it might make it worse. I don't know. Okay, time for the blood drips. And of course I'm gonna use this glittery red. So I saw someone do blood drips like this. I think it was like on Pinterest or something. But what they did is they just got a bunch of gel on their little brush and then kind of just like created a drip and then just dragged it up. Oh, I messed it up. That would have been so good though. Hold up, maybe I can fix it. No one's gonna know. No one's gonna know. Yes, that's perfect. It's even got like a little dome to it. So I'm gonna just create like a couple more drips like that of the blood drips and kind of like outline the French tip. And then once I'm happy with all the drips, I'm actually going to flash cure that so that I don't mess them up. And then I'll go and fill in the top part of the bloody drip French tip, whatever. This red is so pretty. I would 100% do a set of just like full cover tips in this red. I love glittery red, but it does need a second coat in some spots. I don't think I gave the purple gel polish a fair shot because I covered it with like the spider web and it didn't have a chance to shine. So I'm gonna do a French tip with the purple one again because I really like it and I want it to have more of an appearance on this set. Okay, so I've got the French tip, but I'm not completely sure what design I want to do on it. I was thinking just another stitch one like over here, but I feel like that's really not going to show up well. Maybe if I did the stitches white. There's just going to be a lot of white in this set, I guess. Wasn't really anticipating that, but I think that's the only thing that's going to maybe hopefully look good. There are all the French tip designs that literally took me absolutely forever, but I'm not done because I want to put chunky charms on them still because there's a lot of room up here that just still needs stuff. So I'm actually going to put a base coat on this first because I just want to make sure that the charms are going to adhere really well because it would make me really sad if one of them got snagged and popped off. I've been so focused on doing these French tips. I have not checked my messages on my phone in 3 hours and it's kind of stressing me out now because I feel like there's things on there that need my attention, but at the same time I just really want to focus on these nails and get them done. Also, I've been biting my lip this whole time because I bite my lip when I'm focusing or I'm stressed and now it's bleeding. Yeah, there's that. If my lip looks all chewed up in my next video, at least you know why, I guess. the base coat was looking so glossy when I was putting it on. I had to double check that I was actually using the base coat and not the top coat. But that is indeed the base coat. Well, hopefully I don't ruin them by putting on some charms, because I absolutely am not finishing these nails until I get on at least a few of the charms that I got. I 100% want to use at least one or two of these ones because they are so adorable. They are my favorite. I already know that this is probably going to be a struggle to live with on my nails, but they're just like so cute. I want to put this one on. It's going to completely cover the French tip that I made, but it's just so adorable. I don't think I can not use it, so I'm gonna use this one. And then this one just looks so adorable as well. I think I'm gonna have to do that one too. Hopefully I don't regret this. I'm gonna use my non-stick nail gel to put these charms on though, because they are so big and heavy and I don't want them sliding around. But first I'm gonna take this acid-free primer, whatever's left of it, and I'm gonna try my best to like etch the back with it. I don't know if this is gonna work on this like acrylic or resin, whatever this is, but I just want to make the back of this charm a bit sticky, hopefully somewhat etched, so that it will adhere to the nail better. I'm gonna take a good sized chunk of this stuff and put it on my nail, and then get our little adorable little charm guy and stick him in there. And before I cure it or anything like that, I'm gonna take my brush with a little bit of acetone on it and just kind of push the remainder of the solid gel underneath all of the little crevices of the charm so that it hopefully won't get snagged on absolutely everything, and also just like make it look a little bit neater. I don't want solid gel just like squeezing out of all of the edges. That is, oh my goodness, that is so cute. I'm freaking out. Oh, wow, that is so adorable. Okay, this was not a mistake. I spent 3 hours making sure that all of the French tip designs are like absolutely perfect just to cover them up with super chunky kawaii charms. So yeah, it's fine. That's my life. That's me. I really need to start thinking ahead and working smarter instead of harder, because I feel like I make things very difficult for no reason. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the exact same thing to put that little cat. I think it's a cat, might be a bear. I'm gonna go with cat. The cat coming out of the jack-o'-lantern on my ring finger, which is the blood drip one. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy with these. Okay, I think I want to put a couple more charms on. Maybe not the candy corn. I think I have to use one of these little ghosties because I was freaking out about how cute they are. I feel like it would be a sin not to use one. Maybe like in the middle. Yeah, I think that would be cute. Aw, look how cute. Okay, that little ghost is just too adorable, and I think that the ghost with the purple witch hat would just be too perfect for the purple nail, so it's going on there. I feel like having a really chunky charm on my thumb could get kind of annoying, so I'm thinking maybe just a couple of these candy charms. Oh yes, this one, this green and purple one, 100%. Adorable. Finally, we can put the top coat on because I am done with these nails. I am done. These nails turned out so unbelievably cute. I can't wait to go show my mom because I feel like my mom is gonna like them a lot because my mom also likes really cute things. I am also top coating all of the charms as well, just because, I don't know, I think that it will just keep them a little extra protected and also make them look extra shiny. And it also just kind of helps like meld everything together into one top coat and like reduces the risk of charms getting snagged on things. Although I don't know how much I could reduce the risk of these giant charms getting snagged on things. I guess we will just have to see, and I will update you in my next video. Okay, this top coat does have a pretty large sticky layer, so I'm gonna just do my best to wipe all of it off with this Auto Shop paper towel and some 100% not acetone. I mean 91% isopropyl alcohol. I'm sorry. It's been a long day, but all I know is that these nails are absolutely freaking adorable. I am 150% obsessed with them. I honestly don't know if I will be able to top these nails for the rest of the Halloween season, and I'm going to be really sad when I have to remove them to make more Halloween videos, but spooky season only comes one time a year, so I have to get as many videos as I can out. Maybe one of you guys will draw a design for my subscribers draw my Halloween nails video. That will be much cuter than this. Anyway, cuties, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. It helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. I hope that you are having the most amazing day, night, week, life, cutie. Sleep well if you are going to sleep. Also, thank you so much again to Nail Reserve for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate the support. But yeah, anyway, I will hopefully see you in my next one. Bye. Mwah.